If you want to play piano, watch this video. I'm going to give you everything you need to get started today, including how to learn your favorite songs, how to practice so you can actually get results, and some quick, easy fixes you can make to start sounding like a pro on day one. As a bonus, you're also going to learn your first song by the time you finish this video, so let's get started. My name's Aiden, and I've been playing piano for 8 years. I also run a piano improvement club where I help beginners like you learn your favorite songs. Link in the description. Alright, let's get into the video. Part 1. How to start playing piano as a beginner. Now, I'm going to assume two things about you. You're just a piano beginner who wants to learn your favorite songs from day one, and two, you just want to have some fun and dip your toes into the water. See if you like playing piano. Well, if those two things are true, I actually don't recommend that you take piano lessons, because you're just going to end up learning songs like this. And that's fine if you're just here to get better at piano and you're more interested in piano as an instrument than you are about learning your favorite songs. But with that said, I'm pretty sure you just want to learn your favorite songs, right? You're like me. So we're going to use the internet to learn songs, and we're going to use the internet to learn techniques and knowledge and get better. The internet is not necessarily better than taking piano lessons, but it'll fit you better if you're a casual learner who wants to dip your toes in and learn your favorite songs. So with that out of the way, let's move on to part 2. Learning your fundamentals. Now, I told you you're going to learn your first song on piano by the time you finish this video. So to do that, we're just going to learn 3 quick things. Note names of the piano, posture, and the one key mindset you need. Just one key mindset point that'll get you through the entire piano journey. All right, note names. As you can see, the piano is made up of groups of 2 and 3 black keys. If you find a group of 2 black keys, you'll notice that it kind of looks like a doorway. And who's standing in the doorway? That would be Donald Trump. So this note is D for Donald Trump, or Donald Duck, or any other character that starts with D that'll get your memory going and remind you this is the note D. So doorway, D, doorway, D, doorway, D. So once you've got that down, all you need to do is go through your alphabet. The 3 letters before D are A, B, and C. So this is A, B, C, D. And the 3 letters after D are E, F, and G. So you've just learned all the white keys of the keyboard, because if we go up here, it's the same thing. Doorway, D, Donald Trump, right? D. So then we have D, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Doorway, D, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And now for the black keys, just remember that the black key to the right is called A sharp. So this is D sharp, G sharp, C sharp. And the black key to the left is called a flat. So D flat, G flat, and B flat. Now I also said we'd cover posture at the piano, but it's actually super easy. Just straighten your back, sit about an arm's length away from the piano. So just hold out your fists. You should be an arm's length away from the piano. Finally, you want to curve your fingers. Curve your fingers like you're holding a little bubble as you're playing. Not flat fingers. I also mentioned that we have one key mindset point that'll get you through the entire journey, and that's this. Enjoy the process. If you're here on the internet learning your favorite songs on piano, you need to remind yourself that you're here to have fun. Don't go crazy over the most optimized program or needing to practice an hour a day or having expectations that you should learn this many songs in this amount of time. Just take the stress off of yourself and have some fun with it. So with that said, what is the most fun part of playing piano? Learning your favorite songs. So let's move on to part 3, how to learn your favorite songs. All right, let's talk about how to learn songs on piano, because there's actually only 3 main approaches. The first one is sheet music. This is the kind of method you'd learn if you took classical piano lessons. It's good, it's useful, it just takes a while to get started, so I wouldn't recommend it actually if you're a beginner. There's also playing songs by ear, where you just hear a song, like the national anthem, you hum it to yourself, da da da, and you try to find that note on the piano, da da. Da, da, da. And you figure out the song just by humming it in using your musical sense. That's called playing songs by ear. It also takes a while. So the method I recommend is actually YouTube. YouTube tutorials where the notes fall from the screen. So if you've had any feeling that that's not a valid way to learn songs, I would throw that out of the window. This is a perfect way to learn songs, quick, fast, and easy as a beginner. So let me show you how to do it. Alright, so let's say you want to learn the song All of Me by John Legend. Add that, then piano tutorial, and then easy. And I want you to look for falling block tutorials like these, where the notes fall from the screen. And actually, this is the exact kind of tutorial, let me mute that. This is the exact kind of tutorial you want to find as a beginner because it's just one note at a time, and you're going to play this with just your right hand. And after that, let's say you've been doing this for a week or 2 or 3 weeks and you're comfortable with these kinds of songs, you would move on to something maybe like this, where you have one note in both hands. So you see this steady progression over time. We're going to add more notes, we're going to add more speed, harder rhythms, harder techniques. But overall, these are the exact kind of tutorials you're looking for. So now that you've found the perfect piano tutorial, we need to talk about how to actually practice the song. So here's part 4, how to practice your favorite songs and learn songs way quicker. All right, so remember how I mentioned you're gonna learn your first song on piano earlier? This is where that kicks in. Let me teach you how to play the song Interstellar using the YouTube falling notes from the screen method. All right, so the first key to practicing any song on piano, assuming you've already picked the perfect tutorial, is to break up the song into sections. In this case, this tutorial is going to be super easy, so there's only one section for you to learn. So by default, we've already broken up the song into sections. It's just one section. Let's move on to step 2 of practicing any song, and that is practicing hands alone. First, let's learn the right hand. Now for the left hand, it is F, G, A, G. That's it, and you're going to repeat that. So now that we've broken up the song into sections and we've learned hands alone, now we're going to mix the hands together like this, very slowly. Perfect, so now that we've broken up the song into sections, learned it hands alone and then hands together, we have the skeleton of our song. So now that we have the skeleton of the song, we need to fill it in with, muscles and skin. It's a very graphic example. But either way, we're going to add some color now and we're going to make the song sound better. Now there's 2 aspects to this final polishing stage of learning the song. It is speeding up the song and making it sound nice. So let's say it's day 1 and it's a simple song, so you've managed to learn the left hand and the right hand, and maybe even start playing the song hands together slowly. Now we're going to move to day 2, where we try to speed things up, not intensely. And plus, that's not even the original speed of the song, but over the course of the next couple days, you're going to speed up the song. So you're going to speed up the song from this. And so let's say it's day 2, let's speed it up to this. Or whatever speed is comfortable for you. And so on. Go at your own pace and try to speed up the song over time. And of course, we have the second and final aspect of polishing a song. It's making it sound nice. So instead of playing it like a robot, we can add some emotion. So all I did was change around the volume, but that's an easy change you can make to polish the song and make it sound complete and finished. Like it's not your first day learning it, but maybe your 100th day learning a song. Though hopefully it doesn't take you 100 days to learn a song. But with that said, that was a pretty basic version of the song, and I know we can level up this song and make it sound way better. So let's move on to part 5. Quick fixes you can make to start sounding like a pro on the piano today. The first thing you can do is go from playing one note in each hand to playing multiple notes in each hand. We'll start with the left hand. Now, how do we know which notes to add to make the song sound better? Because obviously I didn't just come up with these notes. So what I just did there is I added chords. Chords are just groups of notes. So instead of, I did. See how there's 3 notes now? So you can look up the chords for your favorite songs and add them into your music to level up your sound. The next thing you can do to make any song sound better is use the pedal, specifically the rightmost pedal on your piano if you have it. It makes it go from this to this. See how the sound keeps going even when I let go? So this, no pedal, versus this, hold down the pedal. So together we have. And finally, the third quick fix is to add more emotion and volume changes. We talked about this earlier. You're going to add emotion in loud and soft and medium volumes to make it go from this to this. So you see, it's such a simple song, but we're incorporating these changes and it sounds so much better. But of course, the best way to actually make your music sound better is to progress over time and learn harder and harder songs. So let's hop into part 6, how to progress with the piano. All right, the first thing you want to do is learn harder and harder tutorials over time. Now, earlier I told you how to find the perfect YouTube tutorial for your favorite song, and we used an easy tutorial. But now, to progress, you don't necessarily have to type medium tutorial because that'd be a huge jump, but you can filter through all the easy tutorials and try to play more notes week over week. So let me break that down more in depth. Let's say this is week 1 and you're learning songs with one note in each hand. Next week, try to find songs with 2 notes in the left hand, like this. That's one way you can progress. You can also try to find songs with just more advanced rhythms or right hands that move around a bit more. So this song is easy because you don't have to move your right hand ever. But when you move on to harder songs, of course, your right hand's going to be constantly moving. So week over week, you can progress by adding more notes, harder rhythms, or a wider range of notes for your right and left hands to play, like instead of just. Now, of course, you don't need to stress about finding the perfect tutorial, just enjoy the process. It's just that generally speaking, piano is like the gym. You want to up the weight over time. The second thing you can do to progress with piano over time is learn chords, scales, arpeggios, these useful musical concepts that actually help you. But what I'm trying to say is that you can make huge progress just by learning the chords that we talked about earlier. Most songs are just made of chords, like Interstellar was. So there's only 3 different chords for you to learn. And you can learn those outside of your regular song training. And when you learn those chords outside of your song training, they'll become a tool in the back of your head. And those chords will help you learn every song faster. Scales are also really similar. They're a great way to improve your hand coordination and prepare you to play actual songs. You're training your hand to move in all sorts of positions and move around the keyboard instead of sticking in one spot. And finally, I recommend that you learn arpeggios, which are just taking a chord and breaking it up into its notes. This sounds really impressive in advanced music because you get to move all over the keyboard. Like this. So obviously that was a bit more than arpeggio, but as you can see, I was just playing arpeggios. And underneath it all, I was just playing chords like we talked about. Advanced piano obviously looks advanced, but if you break it up into its pieces, you'll see that it's just chords. And just doing things to break up those chords in more interesting ways. So I'll take this chord, and I'll play the bottom note, and then I'll play the top notes. And things like that. And in the right hand, I was also playing chords. There's also another topic that you can learn to make your music sound instantly better. I should have added this to the previous section, but it's called an octave. Instead of playing one A and one E, you can double it. You can play 2 A's. You can play 2 F's. And I also added the pedal, and that sounds great. And overall, when you study these advanced techniques on the side, just for a little bit every day, I'd start by learning your chords, C major, F major, G major. Of course, I'll give you a full roadmap to learn all your chords and scales and actually learn your favorite songs inside the link in the description. But let's keep going. You're gonna learn these advanced techniques on the side, and assuming you actually practice your favorite songs too, you're progressing week over week, you're gonna see these techniques in the wild, naturally. So let's say you moved on after a couple weeks from easy tutorials to moderately easy tutorials. So instead of this, they're starting to introduce octaves. This is where your study comes in, because you've already seen these techniques before. Octaves, breaking up chords into their parts, doing arpeggios. You've already studied these things, so you'll learn the song that much faster, and you'll take that overwhelm away. Now, I don't want to keep you here too long, but the final way to progress with piano, and this is an optional step, is to learn how to read sheet music and learn how to play songs by ear. Now, these are seriously difficult skills compared to the beginner route of using YouTube. So let me explain the pros and cons. We'll start with sheet music and then talk about learning songs by ear. All right, sheet music. This is how you learn really hard songs. So if you're here to learn songs like, the one earlier, that's a really famous anime piano tutorial. Maybe you've already heard of it before. I mainly use sheet music to learn that one, and most of the other advanced songs that I've learned, So if you want to reach the super high level of piano, I recommend learning sheet music. You can go to a teacher, a course, or Simply Piano for that. Probably not Simply Piano for that. But just know that it'll take a while, and it's not a decision you have to make now as a beginner. When you're a beginner, you don't want to juggle reading sheets with learning your first hand coordination exercises and learning your first songs and learning how to practice. That's stacking way too many things together. That's why I like YouTube tutorials, because you can just copy the notes falling from the screen and you have an entire song. Versus sheet music, where you have to learn from the ground up what each dot and what line corresponds to what note. I'm making it sound complicated, but it's not complicated. You just need to invest a lot of time into it. I recommend just learning your favorite songs, using YouTube for a while. You can make the switch to sheet music, optionally, later on in the future, maybe 2 to 3 years. And of course, learning songs by ear. If you want to learn songs by ear, you need to memorize all your chords and all your scales. So that's extra motivation to learn those things that we talked about earlier, because honestly, learning songs by ear is super cool. You can learn songs in literally a minute or 2 minutes. All you need to do is develop your own understanding of music. So just keep playing songs, keep learning your chords and your scales, and later on, you'll basically be able to figure out what scale a song uses. So if we wanted to use Don't Stop Me Now, first you would hum it out. Da, 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 da. Excuse my singing. Da. So you figure out that's an F major scale, and then from there you could figure out the chords by ear. And then of course you keep experimenting with it and getting better over time. It's all a skill you can learn. I recommend learning sheet music or playing by ear, optionally, a couple years into the process. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I know this is a pretty long guide compared to most of my other videos, but I wanted you to have everything in one place. How to get started, how to learn, and how to progress. But of course, if you want one-on-one access to me and you want me to help you learn your favorite songs, click the link in the description. That's my full program. Soon we're going to be coming out with a 30-day piano challenge for complete beginners. It'll take you from 0 to learning over 10 of your favorite songs on piano with hand coordination exercises and creativity exercises so you can learn how to improvise. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming out soon. And have a great day. Happy practicing.